Okay, part two for writing the math essay. We've already talked about the introduction. The next thing we're going to talk about is what I like to call the math sandwich and see notice transition. And so if we consider here, and let's zoom into this graphic here. When we write mathematics, what typically happens is we start off with an introductory statement of what we're going to be doing. Sometimes you can include why you're doing it. And then you do your mathematics. Okay, and it's often graphs or algebra or points or computations. It could be lots of different things. And if it's several components, there may be words that link them all together, the link to different. And then once you've kind of done your process, and it kind of gets pulled in the middle, we do a see notice transition. See is just a quick statement of what you've achieved. Notice is like the thinking. What does it mean that you've just done in mathematics? What's the important stuff that this mathematics is telling you? And then finally transition on to what you're going to do next. And so if we look at our exemplar, okay, if we look at our exemplar here, our Rainbow Glacier, so we've got our data, blah, blah, blah. And so here I've introduced my data. I plotted the points so I can see them in a scatter plot. And here, this is the C. Notice the yellow part. In the scatter plot, you can see the position decrease on the top, and you can see the time as you see the time increase. So decreasing as time increases, the position decreases. You don't actually have to use the word C. And then it says, I notice that the scatter plot shows that there's a strong negative linear. Data points are going down, trend, and while every year increases, the position decreases. There are no outliers in the scatter plot. All the points appear to be, as they are moving down, fairly strong. So the green stuff here is the notice. It's like, what do you notice? What's the important stuff that you see? And then we do a transition statement. And this one goes across the paragraphs. They appear to be in line. Next, I will attempt to make an equation in line. In order to create the linear model, all the points need to be in line. So there, it's transitioning into the next stage of the essay. And so we do mathematics. We talk about it, we see what we did, we talk about it. And when we walking through it, so then I start to create the midpoint, I do some calculations and I talk about it. This can be seen in the graph on the right. So this is part of a bigger calculation, a bigger sandwich, doing the slope to find the line. But there's words in between it. The slope calculations are not inside the text, it is separate to the text. Some people even like to go so far as to put it into the middle. That is also quite good notation to do that. We're calculating a line. The idea of summary tables is quite useful. We don't want to do repetitive calculations, so we just summarize them in a table. They're doing some more calculation here by doing average slope, which is another method we could do. They get the actual equation of the line. And then they've done all that work, and so here's the best fit model. And now we've done this big, long math process. See how it's several steps long? Words in between linking all the representations, explaining what's going on. And then we see the line to the scatter plot. Let's see the best fit line is put. This is what we see, what we notice, and where we're going to transition to next. And so we take care to make sure that we write the mathematics outside of the paragraphs. We use words to link them all together. We're using equation editors to type it. Notice all the subscripts. And we do see notice transition statements to lead us through the essay.